Welcome to the only comedy podcast on the internet. It's the Coffee Jelly Hour, episode 65. I'm Tony, and I'm joined by Ace, Matt, and Seth. We're preaching caffeine, motherfuckers. How are we doing, everybody?
Oh, good.
Oh, that's good.
I really want to go see Power Rangers.
Oh, I saw it. I saw it
right
too.
Did Matt see it? I knew someone saw it.
I saw it.
And you liked it? Matt liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a great movie, but it was entertaining. And
well, whenever that's being said, though, I always have to point out Power Rangers was never a great thing.
No, and you know what?
It's true. It is true.
No, Power Rangers was terrible, but the
okay.
movie was better than it should have been. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, you were surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I haven't really watched much this week, I don't think. Bone Tomahawk. Watch that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good film. Gay
Is that
porn.
porn?
Yeah, it could be gay porn. Bone Tomahawk. No. No. It's
Why does it gotta be gay? Women can have men's names. You saying that they can't be Ghostbusters?
talking about women. Right, I wanted to ask you. I want to ask some
fucking
advice.
week.
I'll go.
Ace.
Every
fucking
week.
week.
Okay, listen. I want to ask you advice. Right. Okay. I like breasts, and I've noticed this week. I've noticed.
Sound like you got things figured out.
I've noticed that. You know, when I'm talking to someone with large breasts, my eyes are drawn to breasts. Is there a way to not be drawn to the breasts? Like, yeah,
No,
I need
you're
help,
just
I think.
doomed.
No.
I mean,
what I want to know.
I'm sorry, I don't share your struggles.
Oh, really?
mean, just don't do that.
Just.
I mean,
How do I become gay? That's what I'm saying.
if you're secure,
Well, just
and
do what I did and have your dad have sex with you.
So, what? Your dad? What is it? Is he busy? Is he busy this weekend? So I've got to have sex with your dad. Is that what you're saying?
well, he killed himself in prison, but
No, I haven't talked to him in a while.
Oh, jeez. Right. I'm sorry I brought
Well,
all
we
this
went
up, actually.
very
now.
dark
Let's
very
forget
quick.
about the... Oh, anyway. Yeah.
are you saying there's anything wrong with going very dark?
No,
because
no.
I think Leslie Jones is a talented actress.
Okay.
Oh, played the racist card already. Oh, that is bad. So has anyone been doing anything else? I'm changing the subject really quickly.
No.
No one's been doing...
Not really.
Let me guess. Ace has not been sleeping. Is that right?
No, I've not been sleeping. I've been working in art, and I've been working on music, and
Yeah.
this week just sort of rolled the fuck by.
It did. Our clock's gone forward in the UK, so that's fucked me up. Just an hour's fucked me up. So that's shit. I'm going to refuse to do it when it goes back.
Is the Queen still alive?
Yeah, I think they're just her body's on, basically. I think they've got like rope attached to her hands and stuff like that, and her head. And it's like
Oh,
I was
Weekend
gonna
at
say
Bernie's.
I think
it's a weekend at Bernie's thing.
okay, here she is. Say hello to the Queen, and head nods and shit like that. Oh my god, yeah. So I don't. How old is she? I don't know.
Nice new sunglasses.
Yeah, it's kind of quite bright out here. Just don't take them off. Leave them on. How old is she? I don't know how old she is.
612.
No, well, she's-
1300?
What? None of that was...
Oh, I said
what's her name?
612.
Elizabeth. She's 90? Yeah, I think she's still alive. Is there something you don't know?
Yeah, the fact that she's outlived celebrities is a weird...
I know. Hey, you know, we've had quite a few celebrities die this year, haven't we? It hasn't kind of let up since last year. It's a bit shit, really.
The anomaly of the last year, the anomaly of 2016 is that it was a succession of high priority celebrities.
Yeah.
There were ones that weren't quite out of the public eye because we're used to celebrities dying who have gone over the hill. We're not quite used to seeing somebody like Prince dying is very jarring because Prince is on his way into another tour. Or David Bowie, who granted was slightly older, wasn't really comparatively that old, and was from all intents and purposes in pretty good shape. Nobody really knew about the cancer things; he kept it under wraps.
Yeah.
So the 2016 anomaly, I always think is interesting because it's like, oh, it was just this freak succession of deaths. To be fair, nobody expects deaths, but it's like Zsa Zsa Gabor is one thing. Alan Rickman is like, wait, Alan Snape?
Yeah.
What?
It's shit, that, isn't it? Yeah.
How was he sick?
I
mean, he was, but it's more jarring when you don't. And I think that's all that came down to, and whatnot. And I don't really.
Everyone dies.
Yep, that's true.
Or do
We'll
they?
see.
What? Challenge accepted.
I said we'll see.
Yeah, I said challenge accepted.
We don't know.
Yeah.
There are those numerous studies that are like millennials might be the first generation to not have to die and whatnot. And that's pretty funny.
You know what? I would not be okay living forever. Like,
Yeah, that'd be horrendous.
That idea makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
honestly.
I would be.
Just imagine that.
super-
Immortality.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm depressed now. Can you imagine how depressed I would be if I was 600?
Can you?
I mean,
Oh,
like even not just immortality, but just people living that long.
oh, you know what? Can you imagine
Just-
doing this podcast when we're all 600 and whatever? That would be good, wouldn't it?
That's a good bit, but
Do you reckon
Also-
Ace still wouldn't be sleeping? I reckon he wouldn't still be sleeping. Yeah.
I mean,
no.
as it is, we have trouble talking about death, and I feel like if death is even rarer, it's gonna be even more of a touchy subject.
Yeah. Only poor people die. It'll be things like that. Yeah. It's.
Yeah, that's the worst case scenario.
Yeah. Do you reckon if we lived to like, I don't know, 500, right? Serious question. Do you think in that time we will come to appreciate the Ghostbusters remake?
God damn it. I was ready for a real conversation.
I've got nothing. That is it. No, really,
Yeah,
do you think we will?
I actually was prepped right there. I thought for sure you were gonna be like, are you thinking if we lived to be 500, we would appreciate things like fossil fuels and the effect on our environment and whatnot?
No, Ghostbusters remake.
You always look at the
Ghostbusters.
fucking CEOs of these companies, and they're all fucking mummies anyway. So it's like, fuck it. Who cares? Polar ice caps, polar bears, fucking blow me. I mean, it's a stereotype, and I don't do stereotypes because for me, for one, I think women can be Ghostbusters. But I mean, there is a little bit of an application where it's like if you're an old mummy, you don't give a fuck about what happens tomorrow as long as you're getting blowjobs from hookers tonight.
It's true.
Hookers who star in popular movies.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, so serious conversation. That's really good.
Serious
I don't want to live
conversation
forever.
right out there. Who cares? This is a show on the internet. Nobody cares about serious conversation on the internet.
No,
More
not at
people
all.
want to be outraged
that
by
shit.
Power Rangers than...
Yeah. And Ghostbusters.
I can't believe they're raping my childhood. Your childhood started off with rape. I don't hear you. Like, Power Rangers itself is the worst. It's just like, we're gonna take a bunch of old episodes. I mean, Super Sentai had like 40 episodes, and they stretched it into about 200. They reused footage so much, not just of the Megazords, but like of fighting. And they would just like mirror image it and shit, and like recut it. And the White Ranger wasn't even part of the original series. He was part of a different series that they just spliced in scenes with him. It's like, what?
Jeez.
Like this is... And so you see somebody go on a diatribe, and you're like, you do realize this beloved thing of your childhood isn't like, okay, I will stand up for somebody who's like into Spider-Man or whatnot, because there is passion in Batman. There is passion in Spider-Man, but when you're like, how dare you ruin Transformers? Transformers was a toy commercial in the 80s.
Yeah.
Stop acting
it's
like
true.
it's some sacred fucking cow. If you're gonna make a shitty Michael Bay, what are you expecting? A Christopher Nolan fucking Transformers movie? Oh, Megatron here to make social analyzations of our economy and how poor people are savages.
We to be honest, we do look back on our childhood with like rose-tinted sort of glasses, don't we? Like, oh, everything was great, and then, you know, things like, oh, I remember watching Knight Rider, that was the best, and you watch it now, you're like, wow, that was shit, wasn't it? Really, so, yeah.
But the outrage in like, how dare they take this
take that
beloved
and
thing
think,
that is already cynical. Like, it's one thing when it's a beloved thing. It's like I myself, I am super fucking cynical about the new It movie. Like, I'm really cynical about it, but that's because the book is this beloved, beautiful thing. It isn't like, you don't read it and think like, oh, Stephen King was just like, I'm gonna take another book and cut it up and then put my own book in there and just I'll have a few chapters that are the same chapter over and over again. That'll make it look bigger on the shelves.
Yeah, it'll look nice and fat out there.
But then when it's something like Power Rangers that, like, even the people who made it were like, oh yeah, we didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
We just kind of did whatever. Like, literally, the most talented person on that on the original Power Rangers is the editor. Because
exactly.
Guy would go into overtime and he'd make brand new shows using I think in reality I think he only had like 162 hours of footage, and he ended up making literally 1,000 hours of footage with just that amount, like by recutting and splicing in this like weird teenage drama shit.
True.
Yeah,
true.
It's mad. I mean, I kind of avoided the TV show, so I was quite lucky. But I have seen bits and pieces. And
the TV show is fucking amazing.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, what I've seen is like,
You were just shitting on it.
Yeah.
I'm shitting on it, but it's amazing because of the audacity of it, because of what it is, and the fact that, like, I love Power Rangers for the one reason alone. It's what got me and so many other kids into kaiju. It's what got us into, like, anime, or it got us into
it's
Godzilla.
True, yeah.
It was the meth for children.
Yeah.
It was a nice
gateway.
That nice, like, entry into, like, prostitution.
Gateway drug to harder shit.
I really appreciate that. I think it was a terrible, cynical, nasty. Mr. Saban was like constantly just like, we're gonna take a cartoon from Korea and we'll recut it and make $1 million. That was like everything in his company. That's all they ever did, and it's like, oh man, this is so shitty. But good God, do I love that man for being so shitty. I love his cynicism, so that's why I'm like, why are people now defending his cynicism against the cynicism of other assholes?
My sister cried when the Green Ranger died.
Really?
Yeah, she sat outside on the swing set and just cried, and she said she prayed to God that he would come back to life.
How old was she?
And then he did.
Okay, first and foremost, maybe say spoiler alert before you start talking about important plot details.
Yeah. You ruined it for me.
I'm
not that far into the series yet.
Ruined it. So hold on. How old was she when this happened? When she was crying? About what do you think?
However old I was,
34.
plus a few years.
34.
Right. This is last week, and also, so that proves God does exist.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't bring back the Green Ranger. He brought him back as the White Ranger. The Green Ranger's still gone.
It's the same dude, though, right?
Well, it's the same dude. Yeah. I think the guy's name is like Jason McMuffin, and he's still in Power Rangers to this day. Like, he was in it then, and he's in it now, and
so now he's immortal. He's a lich.
Have you just made that up? That name, Jason McMuffin?
His name's like Jason McSaggertits or something. And what's really sad about him is, like, he goes to every Power Rangers convention everywhere. Like, you could be in, like, Utah nowhere, and he'll show up, and he's got, like, short, spiky hair that's dyed green, and it's like, oh, you poor man. And, like he was an MMA fighter for a while, but he was apparently terrible, and that's all I know about him. And also, he was in a few edutainment things in the 90s, because I remember a friend of mine was like, look at this, it's got the Green Ranger in it! And we're like, yay, the Green Ranger! And then we turned it on, and it was like, oh, hi, I'm the Pied Piper. And we're like, boo! Fight Rita!
Wait, but he's an MMA fighter?
Oh, he was.
Failed.
I think he isn't
crap.
anymore.
Certainly he doesn't do his own fighting in the shows.
No, that was honestly a thing that they did require. I will give them credit. When they hired the teenagers with attitudes who were all in their 30s, they made sure that they all were at least accomplished acrobats, because they did have to do, because like during the teenager scenes they still fought putties and like would do somersaults and shit. So they had to at least be coordinated, because they didn't want to hire cynicism. You don't want to hire stunt doubles and actors. Why don't you just hire the stunt doubles and make them into the actors? That's how you get great lines like "Saber-tooth tiger." I should make, but she's dead now.
Oh God! What in
can't do impressions of dead people?
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. If she was still alive, though, I guarantee
the family would be
movie.
terrible. So listen, should we head on to our fan fiction?
Yes.
Before Matt disappears. Oh right, sorry, have you got something?
I have a question.
Yeah, go on. Is it about boobs?
So I've been kind of trying to find a balance between eating quickly and eating quietly.
Tonight.
I still have a full plate of
today?
food. Should I? No, just like I have a plate of food right now.
Bin it.
And
bin it now. No. Just fucking eat it.
Eat your food, Matt. You had a thing you were going to say before the show.
Oh, yeah, I did. I almost forgot.
Go on,
eat
now, Seth.
I almost forgot. It's just, oh man, I was thinking about it today, and man, I hate when people in fiction get themselves into trouble because they don't listen to somebody. Like, well, for example, like in It, we were talking about It earlier. When Audra goes after Bill, even though Bill is like, don't come to Derry, and then she tells her director, she's like, I think I'm going to go to Derry, and the director is like, no, don't go to Derry, stay here and work on the movie, and she's like, you know what, I'm going to go to Derry, and she does, and she gets taken by It, and she goes into that weird fucking coma, and it's like, you know what, lady, if you had just fucking done what people said you should do.
Fucking listened.
And I know it's a real world thing, I know people don't always, but for whatever reason, if I'm watching a show, or reading a book, or a movie, and somebody gets major consequences just because they didn't fucking follow some basic directions, I'm like, you know what? You deserve that. I hate you now.
It all hinges on something so fucking simple, and it hinges on someone being stupid.
The Pirates of the Caribbean movies must have drove you fucking crazy. Because that's like all they were based on was characters not listening to each other.
Yeah,
like, this could have been solved in a fucking instant.
Yeah. There's so many things, isn't it? It's kind of like fucking hell.
Yeah, it's a basic plot telling device, but it drives me crazy.
It's true.
Poor fucking. I'm assuming you that's where you're at in the audiobook, or did you?
That's where I'm at in the audiobook.
Poor Audra does get a bit shafted in that book though, because eventually her description is sort of depletes down to she's like Beverly, but not as attractive. It's like, what?
Yeah, she gets it's like, I'm like, when I read that book and I'm thinking about a few things, I'm like, man, this is one of the books things that could have just been cut right out of this entire story, and it wouldn't have...
or at least given her some better service, because she was nothing but a plot device, and at worst, just I don't know. I didn't like her lack of.
I love that book, I really do. But when she's like, you know what? No, screw it. I'm just gonna go to Derry. I'm like, no, this is.
I'm not gonna listen to anybody.
I'm like, this is so dumb.
But isn't that like life?
Well, yeah, I know. That's what I said. That's what I said. It's realistic, but for whatever reason, when I'm reading it in a book, I'm like, no, this should be different than life.
You know, like you think things like, if I would have listened, I wouldn't have that rash, and stuff like that. You know, but hey, there we go. Don't stick it there.
I finished my food.
Yeah. Okay, you finished. We're gonna do this.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this.
Born of Darkness,
oh, God.
Chapter 4. Warehouse Rave. Undo these change my...
Who the fuck is playing whom, by the way?
Christ.
Well, I'm Robin, and I'm...
You're Robin and Raven, I'm Sapphire and Cyborg, and
Seth is Seth.
He's...
Seth is Seth. Undo these change... Of course. Undo these change my... Oh, fucking hell, I can't speak. Undo these chains, my friend. I'll show you the rage I've hidden. Perish the sacrament, swallow, but nothing's forgiven. Is it? You and I can't decide which of us was taken for granted. Make amends. Some of us are destined to be outlived.
Step inside, see the devil and I.
There we go.
Oh, this is so good.
Night fell like a dog.
I'm just waiting,
by the way.
I'm waiting for the fucking opening quote to just be ooh ah 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 ah.
Yeah.
Ooh ah ah ah. Night fell like a dark, comforting shade across the city, leaving little dregs of light along the myriad of streetlights throughout. Like the day, it had come slowly and without resistance. That's what she said. Seth could only attribute a calm day to the lack of crime. After the meal at the cafe, the Titans had wandered around the city for some time, perhaps keeping tabs on anything out of the ordinary. Something told Seth that it was more out of aimlessness. With such a bizarrely low crime rate, there wasn't much to fight off or fend off. A life crisis came to mind.
Why the fuck are they looking for a new Titan if there's no crime?
Yeah,
Why were they
there's
even,
nothing to do. Just they're getting themselves ready.
5.
Yeah, be
Rule of
prepared.
5s.
Yeah, well, yeah, true.
Or do you think this is all gonna come out as like a jealousy story about Beast Boy, where they're all just gonna start calling him and like, hey, we're spending time with Seth.
Beast Boy is the new Darwin.
People generally tended to avoid Seth, if at all possible. They knew death on two legs when they saw it. You're death on two legs. He didn't understand why, to be honest. Deep down, dark and stoic as he was, the bastard had a sense of morality. He had feelings, even though restrained, feelings like friendship and general compassion for fellow man. Even feelings beginning to grow for Raven.
Oh yeah, I forgot this story puts me to sleep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just sleep now. Let it wash over you. Sometimes the people nearby even crossed streets to avoid him. It didn't do his ego very much good, but it didn't do much harm either. He had not been here 2 days. And already Seth was instilling fear in those around him. It was a torn thing, love and hate. On one hand, he enjoyed the respect. On the other, he just wanted someone to reach out to him. Desires were a moot thing, though.
That's what she said.
He had to keep it level, calm.
That's what she said.
Here's the next one. He had to keep up the demeanour, even when Raven would shoot him a glance or two. He wondered.
That's what she said.
Oh, it's my fault. He wondered if she could sense him gazing over her figure, especially her rear end and face. There we go. Seth, yeah, that's what it says. Seth Obsidian was very much human and had needs like any other. That's what she said. After the endless hour of walking around places like the local mall and hanging out at a few other diners and bars, the Titans had eventually returned to the Titan Tower. The uneventful night had inspired a well of self-question for all of them. Fucking hell, yeah. Star seemed lost in some sort of existential meltdown. Robin had grown an erection for extreme pride. Let me read that again.
Wait, what?
Robin had grown.
Yeah, read it again.
Robin had grown an erection for extreme pride. Yep. Cyborg oozed of apathy, and Raven, well, she kept her emotions hidden particularly well, like Seth. But as the twilight came and went,
why is Raven?
Go on.
Why is Raven so cool? Why does it have to be Raven being cool? Couldn't she have her flaws too? She had flaws in the show. I mean, she was devoid of emotion, but she still had emotion. God, the Starfire's a dummy, and that Robin, what a poo-poo head, and that Cyborg, oh boy, don't want to get into a rap battle with him. Raven, beautiful, stoic, and quiet.
Kept her emotions hidden. The Titans had grown restless. Seth had holed up in his room once again, and once again Starfire came for him. He'd begun to suspect maybe she liked him to some degree. That's what it said. She was cute, sure. She'd probably be fun in the sack, or even provide as a good servant in the lust department. Let me just read that. Let me read that again. This is exactly what I said. She'd probably be fun in the sack, or even provide as a good servant in the lust department. But he wasn't all that into her. Hi, I'm just going to have a browse around the lust department. Is there anything on offer today, maybe? Isn't
this character like 15? What the fuck does he know about the lust department?
God knows. Not like
so cool.
Not like that, at least. He could only appreciate her body like any other man would. I don't know. Yeah. Time continued on. Seth looked up sharply from his desk as he heard soft knocks on his door.
His barren desk looks like any other desk. Enter,
he said in a slightly annoyed voice. He let his I don't know why I was saying it like that. He let his red inked pin fall from his hand as the door opened up to
Is
once
he
again
correcting
reveal
papers?
Starfire. Fuck knows.
What is it this time?
Seth asked.
I'm trying to remember. I gave her so many accents before.
Was she English?
Well,
Yeah.
we are heading out again. Do you wish to join us? This time we are going to a place you might find more acceptable.
Oh no, so it wasn't
Damn
it?
it, Seth is
So-
an asshole.
So it wasn't an English accent. That's fine. No, carry on. I'm being a dick. I'll shut up.
Divine. Acceptable.
Seth folded his arms. Starfire stammered,
Fuck you.
then attempted to answer.
The kid that's writing this thinks this is cool.
Oh, here we go.
To be an asshole.
Here we go.
It's kind of like the Nine Inch Nails video with its monkeys stapled to walls on crucifixes and Trent Reznor floating in the center of the room with goggles on. What Nine Inch Nails music video was he talking about?
I don't know.
Is it the one where Trent
Nine Inch
Reznor's walking? Is it the one where he's walking through a warehouse rapping, or is it the one that's got a picture of fucking Windows Media Player and then Trent Reznor's face appears on one of those little pin thingies you shove your dick on? I mean, face. Like what is he? I'm assuming she's talking about Closer, but Closer had like monkeys and shit stapled to the walls,
yeah.
and it was
true.
all fucking.
No, it's more like a Nine Inch Nails AMV.
Oh yeah. My homage to Helsink.
Go on.
Seth replied, his interest peaked.
Oh, it is the rapping
As
one.
you say.
Good. There is an abandoned warehouse down near the docks. It's really a good place. Really. There is a party going on and we've all decided to go.
Starfire explained.
All of us?
She nodded.
Star, I don't know you very well, but you don't seem to be the gothy, haunted warehouse type.
Seth pointed out. She shrugged.
Fuck you.
That's class.
I remember back in my heyday when I had my boots on, I'd listen to my Marilyn Manson and I'd go down to the warehouses.
Haunted warehouse.
I'd pack crates, you know? Yes, this is true. I may meet new friends there. Seth Obsidian. So it's enough of a motivation for me to attend.
She was like that. It took only a few days of being in her presence to deduce Starfire was about as friendly as you could get. He hunched forward, clasping his hands together. Seth considered this whole party thing with laser focus.
With laser focus.
He's got laser eyes.
Consider this party thing.
Yeah. As you do when you go to a party.
That's what she said.
Oh. Jesus. He'd been working on the map for 2 solid hours now. He looked back
What
down
map?
at it. I don't know, it hasn't mentioned a map. I'm glad you said that. I thought I'd missed it. He looked down at it, expressionless. 2 hours ago, Seth had asked for a detailed map of the city. Here we go. He decided, it's just been mentioned now, he decided to be best prepared, just in case. He was studying it and marking good places to hide out and nice little escape routes, things you'd gather from a Die Hard movie. Not those awful new ones, the first 3 only.
I'm not exaggerating. I just cringed. I'm not even kidding. Like that sound I was making was the sound of my spine recessing up to my throat.
I thought you were going to say I've just ejaculated, but no, go on.
That too.
I'll go.
Seth said finally. He gathered up his things, stretching.
Everyone's going to be pleased.
She giggled, cackled. He shrugged.
Tell that to Robin.
She mirrored his shrugging response.
Follow me,
Everyone was gathering around a rather souped-up car, probably lost in the sheer magnitude of it all. Cyborg was beaming at it. Robin was practically drooling, and well, no one else cared. Starfire seemed to understand that, yes, this was a rather enhanced car, but beyond that, she didn't seem to pay much attention. What type of car was it, Starfire? A red one.
So
Women,
you
I don't know.
finally finished it, eh? All perked up and top-notch. Real horror show.
Robin asked, looking the car over with a studious grin.
I'm assuming this is Cyborg, but it doesn't specify.
No.
But he was the only other character beaming.
Yeah, he was beaming at
Yeah,
it.
I did. Finally, took me a while to get past the parts just in place like they should be. I don't know, man. It was a real son of a bitch to get just right, but I did it though. Looks nice.
Seth ran a finger over the hood.
I just wish BB was here to see it. He would really. I don't remember what Cyborg's voice was. I'm just half blues man, just rasping.
Bleeding Gums
I
Murphy.
just wish BB was here to see it. He would really loved it. He spent weeks talking about getting this thing perfect.
And Cyborg replied, a look of sadness falling over his face. Perhaps that was why he was falling into depression. He missed Beast Boy. It was implied that they were friends, but not
That's
best
what
friends.
she said! Oh.
Seth. I think we've got the title for our show, haven't we? Seth seemed to understand a bit better than the others, though. Brotherhood is hard to come by. Trust is hard to come by. Depression was, and is, a real asshole. It came to you when you were weakest, most vulnerable. It ranged from sadness and loss of joy to downright apathy and physical pain. Seth looked up at Cyborg.
I think he would have been pleased. You did a good job.
So do I.
Said Robin, though he didn't sound like he meant it very much.
Let me drive.
He said after a moment of silence.
You're turning into a Paul McCartney motorcycle? Let me drive. I'm turning into a Paul McCartney ghost because I can't emulate that.
I guess so.
Cyborg replied. They all piled into the car, Robin in the driver's seat, Cyborg in the passenger's seat, and the other three in the back. Raven and Seth sat on either side of Starfire, making for a cramped interior. Obsidian on one hand liked this a lot. On the other, it was still a tight fit. No, nothing? That's what she said? No? Okay. He looked out. Too easy, that one. He looked over at Raven. She simply stared
That's
at
what
him.
she said!
Why do you look at me so much?
She asked. Seth shrugged.
I'd ask you the same.
Raven calmly turned her attention away, returning it to whatever Robin and Cyborg were doing. He opened up the garage door with the push of a button, looking around at the other Titan with some weird grin of smug satisfaction. There was an ego brewing in his coming words, which only failed to impress Seth. Rather, he was amused at his palpable attempts to gain control and prove himself. This is difficult to read.
Get ready.
I know, it's so heady.
He said with a grin on his face, then peeled out of the garage.
Are we
Starfire
gonna burn through the witches and drag through the ditches?
Starfire gripped a handle on the car's interior side, bracing against Seth and the back seat as buildings, signs, pedestrians and pure concrete passed by in a daze of approaching city light. The door shut behind him as Robin flew down the paved roadway with no observable direction. He was easily going 50 and gaining speed. Ploughing down the road, he swerved onto the main road into the city.
Why don't you let it up a little?
Cyborg asked.
You afraid we're going to crash? No way. We're heroes. That kind of thing happens to other people.
Robin
Oh
replied,
my God.
famous last words.
So
We're gonna die now.
says you.
Raven muttered.
I didn't ask the goth chick for an opinion.
Robin snapped
Oh
back,
my
shifting
God,
into wide
dude.
turns and spins. that tempted physics with a nice fatal bloodbath. The leader didn't mind. Robin continued to plough on, and it was only a God-given miracle that they made it down to the docks and the warehouse party without a scratch. He pulled the car to a halt among dozens of other cars nestling beside the slowest teenage angst. The dull rhythmic thudding of music could be heard as much as felt as the Titans got out of Cyborg's shiny new auto. Seth looked around, studying the environment. He saw dozens of teens heading into the warehouse, some with myriads of piercings and tattoos, others with dyed hair and glow sticks to light up the city skyline.
Just like a Nine Inch Nails music video.
He watched as a black hatchback Mustang pulled up, and as the doors opened, a cloud of thick smoke came from a drug commonly called weed, drifted out of the opening doors, staining the air with a calm.
It's totally gonna be Gumball and Eric.
I hope so.
It's gotta be Eric. Staining the air with a calming, though potent smell. 4 teens came out. One was skinny with short black hair and a smile so wide it pierced his cheeks. Another had blonde hair and blue eyes, skinny as well, and possibly more euphoric than the teenager before him. Another wore a trench coat much like Seth, though not as cheerful as the others. There was a definite smirk, just subdued. He had a shaved head and a dark look combined with the joy, a strange combination. The final one also wore a trench coat, hiding most of his features in darkness.
You take this one, Matt.
Okay. Oh man, we chonged it up.
Said the skinny. Said he. Guys, this street talk, man. Said the skinny teen with dark
All
hair.
the kids are making Cheech and Chong references these days, don't you know?
Cheech and chonged.
I don't even. What is ongoing?
The blonde one tried to muster. Ongoing, not... Yeah, okay. The blonde one tried to muster. Raven stood by Seth, simply staring. Oh, fucking hell.
What is it that they're doing?
She asked. Seth
That's
felt...
what she said!
Seth felt a small grin manage through his hardened face. Oh, God.
It's called therapy in some places. Other test subjects refer to it as running through the forest. I call it tending to the herb.
Seth shoved his hands into his pockets, standing.
Oh, jeez. Pot.
God. Raven stated, one of the teens damn near hacking up a lung. She shook her head gently.
Amateurs.
With that, she was gone into the warehouse. All the others laughed, and the quartet began to head into the warehouse. Seth watched them go, barely changing his expression. On some level, he longed to be like them. It had seemed like a way of being truly free, something Seth could never be. He turned his attention to the warehouse, making his way inside. What was it to be normal, to have a normal life, to be a normal teenager with friends, not allies, to live life for a purpose different than his? He sighed heavily, passing the interior doors of the warehouse, neon lights and bizarre exotic colours beaming around the walls and through the collective of teenagers and young adults. Here there was only life in the sense that you were moving, you were kinetic. As soon as the Titans entered, everything went to hell in a hurry. Someone yelled bust, and everyone began to snatch and run, grabbing up drugs and beer and other things that were illegal. Seth wondered if any of them thought they could get away reasonably. Instead, he simply stood and watched the pandemonium. Crazy.
Mega Blockstockler. My dialogue.
Is that alright? Cyborg, I thought it was. Cyborg nudged him, and for the first time, Obsidian felt a connection, or at least a hint of one. Raven suddenly spread her dark energies after muttering a strange chant and held every single person where they stood, grasping them in some mysterious aura of dimensional power. Robin gave her thanks, applauding her with a wide grin on his face. He bowed for her, then paced to the 4 of the frozen partygoers. His thanks was more than enough. The bastards had a sense of theatrics after all. Fucking hell, I can't breathe.
Thank you, Raven dear.
He stopped clapping, then began addressing the entire mass of frozen teens.
Everyone chill out. We're not here for a bust. We're here to party.
Raven then released everyone, and they all paused, looking up at Robin. Deer in headlights painted over their faces. There seemed to be a tenseness, and then somebody yelled,
It's all good.
Everything went back to normal. Movement, lust, and ecstasy returning to their former glory, if not more energized. The music resumed, people kept on doing what they were doing, and the general air calmed down. Cyborg and Starfire disappeared into the crowd, probably hunting down a piece of ass for later in the night. Hunting a piece of ass for later in the night. Seth had no idea what Cyborg would be into, but Starfire made it very clear she liked Earth women.
I guess I'll do. You're not here for a bust? Prove it.
One of them said, and produced a blunt.
Smoke it.
Robin looked down at it, then held out his hand. The teen handed it over. Robin put it into his mouth.
Smoke it like a pussy. Doesn't know it.
Purging the son of a bitch like a madman on the cusp of a tobacco pipe, then took the lighter that the teen extracted from his pocket and lit
I just
it
want
up.
Batman to walk in and smack him upside of the head.
What the fuck are you doing? The glorious, egocentric, cocky leader actually took a deep, formidable drag. A weak chuckle escaped Seth as he watched. Robin held it for a little while, then coughed it out.
Wait, I lost my place.
All right.
Oh,
The
all right.
The teen said
I
reluctantly.
guess you're good.
He shrugged.
Crime fighters need a break every now and then.
The teen nodded.
Agreed.
He ripped the blunt out of Robin's mouth and then walked off into the crowd, satisfied the local hero had proven himself harmless for the night of fun. Seth simply stood. What the hell was he supposed to do? No one really knew much about him, and honestly, he stuck out like a sore thumb in the team. It was then that he noticed. It was then that he noticed.
Oh, that tickles me!
What?
Who walks into a party with everybody A, knowing who they are, and why does he stick out when they just...
Yeah.
A moment ago, he wasted our time to talk about how everybody's dressed just like him, and now all of a sudden it's like...
Yeah, he sticks out
like a sore thumb. I'm
He wore a
sorry,
trench
my
coat.
sense of...
He wore a
My
trench
sense
coat
of
like
immersion
Seth.
is just destroyed.
And he wore a trench coat like Seth. It was then that he noticed Raven still standing by his side, silent. He turned and looked at him, her eyes burning into his. What was this she was doing? Seth simply gazed back for a brief moment before Starfire called her off into the crowd. Raven's mouth twitched in anger, and she turned towards the alien girl, displeased.
Wait.
Seth let it escape him. She looked back for a moment, then returned to Starfire. He watched her go, finding an intense surge of boredom overcome him. His feet moved forward. He'd go into the crowd and just perhaps get a drink. Not that it'd affect him in any way, no matter what kind of alcohol he drank. It's Eric. No matter what drug he did, it would not affect. It would have no effect on him.
This is just
Oh,
Eric.
no, it's not Eric. It's
Eric.
No, it's not Eric. It's who was the
other?
other
Thingy.
character?
Small fire.
I can't remember.
Oh, fuck
Anyhow.
Six.
Moving on.
that privilege.
We gotta
that
try to get to
privilege
the
was
end of this
taken
chapter.
we're nearly there. That privilege was taken from him at birth by some scientists playing God with test tubes of genetically engineered DNA and biological serum. But he's
This
still.
is the first we've heard about this.
I know, yeah. It's all coming out now. But he still liked to do it sometimes, perhaps to show off, perhaps to try and feel alive, or even appear somewhat normal. You could win loads of bets, couldn't you? Drinking games and stuff. Somewhat human, he spotted Robin sitting at the makeshift bar with a few others, holding a glass of whiskey in his hand. He took a sip of it and then looked around at his admirers, clapping as the teen tightened down another shot of some sour mash Kentucky brew.
I guess that's
Yes,
Robin.
Robin.
Okay. I hope
Yeah.
my alcohol will.
he said. Obsidian found himself cocky and irritated with Robin's attitude. Well, time to put a stop to that. Seth stepped forward and looked the teen who was acting as bartender in the eye, stoic and focused. Robin.
What are you going to do, new fish? Try to outdrink the Robin.
Robin jeered, the crowd following his lead.
Everclear. Shot glass.
He said in a monotonous voice, sitting over the counter. All eyes suddenly went to Seth. Everclear, not beer, not weak whiskey. Everclear, almost pure, burning your throat and soul, pristine alcohol. The bartender stared at Seth. Yeah, do that again. The bartender stared at Seth for a moment.
That's what she said.
Before finally nodding. Hold on. And getting it out.
Ooh.
No, nothing there. Is this the bartender? Oh no.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure, man. We're here to have fun, not to have the cops sent over for some idiot getting alcohol poisoning.
Just fucking Everclear.
The bartender advised, pouring the drink into the small of the glass. Seth picked up the shot glass, held it to the light, and tipped it in Robin's direction. In one fluid movement, it was downed.
Another.
He said. The teen refilled the glass, then Seth downed it. He repeated this process 6 times, each with a bigger sense of smugness and triumph. He let Robin screw with him. He'd let Robin screw with him since day one. That's what it says.
Isn't it still day one?
Yeah, since yeah. But right now, in the height of his emotions, he wanted to prove himself. More specifically, knock Robin down a couple of pegs. Maybe he was trying to impress Raven.
You the goddamn devil!
One of the teens said. Seth turned to look at him, grinning.
Far from it,
he said. Robin, disheartened and outdrank, left the bar, deflated. Seth turned to look out over the raving teens in the crowd. He could see Raven watching Starfire attempt to woo some random Earth girl, Cyborg with a woman, and a man at his side, all 3 dancing, and Robin finding comfort in several of the other rave attendants, all female. Something familiar was playing, a song that he had acquired a taste for some time back. It was called "Alone I Break" by a band called Korn. He had grown to love many of their songs, specifically from the Untouchables and Issues
Yes,
albums.
of course.
Seth finally stood up.
Insert more of this.
Stood up and moved to a darkened corner of the warehouse to stand alone. He watched and the party continued on. Somewhere behind some other people, through some thick cigarette smoke, on some stool sat Raven, returning the same gaze of interest Seth had expressed for her earlier. With that,
that was
the party continued on.
I just can't wait till Seth and Matt fuck again.
God. That'll be great.
It seems to be this reoccurring thing that the 2 of you are. Although you guys get the gender switch this time.
That's true. Well, guys, I gotta be doing the ending of this show now.
That was good.
Yeah, I gotta be dashing out of here.
Okay. Let you. Well, what I should say now is I'm going to use the healing bead, the healing power of my beard.
That's what she said.
I'm going to remind you all that if it looks like
I'm
magic,
getting the hang of that.
it's not magic. It is science or worse. So deal with it. I am not a motherfucking kid. See you all next week. Say goodbye, everybody. Bye.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.